Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles, the camper, the Kiefer dog, the weather, all that good stuff. Good Monday morning there to all those that tune in and watch my channel on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for being so kind to participate and feel like you're part of the team, part of the communications, part of the sharing, part of the what. But anyways, as always, hope everybody had a blessed Mother's Day and you had fun with the family and things were really cool for you. And here's another week upon us. Just incredible how the weeks pass us. As you progress, you know, life seems to get faster and faster as I continue to share my adventures in life with you on my YouTube channel, which you're hearing the word share, and my voice is a little little crackly this morning. Kind of got to get it going because I haven't really talked this morning, so you're the first to be hearing my voice this morning. And yeah, so you're hearing the word share, and I thought, what better way to start the week than let's talk about the word share. And I thought, wow, that word more than ever is the most used word, most powerful word in so many ways. Sorry to be coughing and hacking and choking up, but I'm not lying. You're the first to hear my voice. Wife's already gone to work. The kid's still getting ready to go to work, and I'm having to yell at Kiefer to keep him away from that ginger girl. So it's the Monday morning blues, or is it at the off to the races Monday morning? Probably the Monday morning blues for most people, because you're back to the routine and you got to get motivated to get the day going, because you know what you do. If you do it week in, week out, you kind of know the routine, which that's a good thing. Hopefully you know what you're doing. So anyways, I thought to myself, man, oh man, if the word share isn't the most powerful word at this time in the world, it is, because everything more than ever is about sharing. Even to the point that I've talked many times on my channel how I never wanted to be exposed nor share really who I am with all my craziness and antics of me going out and buying cars and trucks and toys all the time. It's just been who I have been most of my life. And sure, this is to a much more extreme in my life, but overall, I'm sharing information to so many which I never really wanted to do. Even to the point that I was never a Facebook user. I was never really in social media. I didn't want to be exposed and share who I am. I just didn't want to do it. And yeah, what has happened? Totally the opposite's happened, where yeah, I share probably way too much. And here at the shop, it's kind of gotten back in order. Had to get some bikes out in trailers because it just driving me nutty. I just didn't feel like the things flowed here. And as always, we got to get the dogs up in the office, with the exception of Kiefer, because he's just such a wound up little puppy that wants to always play, and the others aren't so sure about that. So stop it. And so he has to stay down here with me. Nope, you get there. Yeah, he's a lot of work. He's a great dog. He really is a great dog when he's not with other dogs. I mean, sincerely. When he's other dogs, he's just so riled up. And wow, he'll wear your butt out. But yeah, you can see I got the Camaro back uncovered, which this is such a cool car. I mean, I really do. I'd have to say honestly right now, I think I have the most cool collection of vehicles at this time. I really feel like it's a nice mixture, because I've got the Ford, the Chevys, the Dodge, and instead of just having all the Dodges, and that's just going on more than ever, is I'm just getting so burned out of the Ford product that I want to go a different direction. And really, it's kind of coming full circle back to when I was a kid, of being the Chevy Mopar kid, because out of high school, when I started working in the parts industry, I used to have a Plymouth Cuda and a Chevy truck. So that was really my true beginnings of what I owned and had, and when I used to drive back and forth to work. So I had like two vehicles, didn't have them forever. So anyways, so the sharing, as you can see, I share a lot of stuff. And even one of my subscribers reached out and said, you know, he sounds like my brother. He's like, you're crazy because you're just inviting trouble to your house. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that the radical person out there wants to come visit me and steal everything. I guess, you know, that could happen. I mean, everything is insured. I do have all video cameras to have all detail of everything being stolen. But, you know, come on by and steal the electric vehicles. I mean, come on, take those. Take the Jeep Mojave You know, I mean, sincerely, yeah. In some ways, hey, did me a favor, but in all sincerity, not really, because then you're marked as an insurance person that you're now a liability because people are stealing things from you. So that's not a good thing. But anyways, so and yeah, you can be scared, fear. What is fear but fear itself? Winston Churchill or Roosevelt, whoever said that back in the day. So anyways, here we are in a Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 Bison package. And yeah, how this all played out, it really played out because another one of my subscribers was saying, before you buy that Raptor, you really should weigh your options. The Ranger Raptor, and which I did. And in all sincereness, I've been thinking about getting the nice new Chevy 2500 ZR2, most recently released heavy duty truck that looks badass. That's got the big ass suspension and tires and wheels, factory setup, kind of like this. I wouldn't mind picking one of those up. I wouldn't mind kind of having the Chevy flair again. And my good friend Chris, he said it well. He predicted it. He's Mr. Right. He says he's right, so I call him Mr. Right. So his thoughts were, when I bought that Chevrolet Camaro, then I bought the Chevrolet Corvette, he was like, oh, here we go. You're going to now start converting to go all to Chevy. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, because it's just, for me, I've been, for the Dodge product, I've had the Dodge Charger and Challenger now since 2014-15. Yes, so you're talking really 10 years of me having the Dodge Challenger product, which is kind of even hard for me to believe. The Chevy side of it, I've been kind of away from that. So on sharing all my adventures and how this played out, which it really was incredible on how this haul did play out. And a lot of people are reaching out and bringing up things. So the AEV, I think it's Adventure Expedition Vehicle. I think that's what that is. It would make sense to me. Or is it an American Expedition Vehicle? I think it's the Adventure Expedition Vehicle, I believe. And it has that company outfitted the Chevy product with the upscale stuff to make it a little beefy, a little more cool. And it has the i4 Turbo Max. I think they call it that. Maybe the Max Turbo. I'm not real sure. I'm just not really in depth in the Chevy product because I just don't really spend a lot of time looking at it, because then it just draws me and want to buy one. That's the danger. And that's all that happened here. Is this really got me excited because the way the truck looks. The ZR2 non-Bison, I wouldn't have bought it. So if somebody out there, well, if you're so excited to Chevy Colorado, why didn't you buy one earlier? It just never got me that excited. This got me excited. Now, a lot of people out there are saying the Ranger is the better deal. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. The Ranger is a nice truck, but I've had so many Ranger trucks, so many Ford products. This is just me changing it out. But then people are commenting, this doesn't have nearly the power that the Ranger Raptor does. Well, that's true and not true. It depends what specs you're looking at. So if you're looking at the non-ZR2 package, yeah, you really have a pretty lame four-cylinder, 270 horsepower motor. This here is 310 horsepower with 405 foot-pounds of torque. And so, or 430 foot-pounds of torque, I believe. Yeah, that's right. 310, 430 foot-pounds of torque. Well, the Ranger truck is 405 horsepower and 430 foot-pounds of torque, which that's intriguing because you have a truck that has a four-cylinder versus a V6, and it's matching on the torque. This is a single turbo. The Ranger Raptor is a twin turbo. That's kind of hard to believe that Chevy is able to get the same torque out of the smaller motor, one less turbo. So that's pretty impressive. But for the record, it's 95 horsepower less. And do you feel that? You do. But at the same time, it gets up the road. But here's the thing. I've already ordered a MBRP catback exhaust. And I'll probably take that over to Max Custom Garage. So I did order a nice little exhaust for it. Does it give it a little bit of life and a little bit of juice? And it's got the black rear tip. So it's coming Wednesday. So hoping for the week's out, you'll see me at Max Custom Max Custom Exhaust, getting that MBRP exhaust put on this. And does it give it a little bit more of a growl? But it's a four-cylinder. Can't see it. But at the same time, it needs something because it's just so lame. So you hear more of the engine in this vehicle than you do the exhaust note, that's a typical like four-cylinder engine. I've talked about how the rear tire, it's really cool, but it obstructs your view for the rear view mirror in the car. They should have made it where you had a rear camera for the rear view of the mirror capability. One of my subscribers reached out, the rear taillights, the old light bulb style or the LED. They're the old. It's just hard to believe that this is a $62,000 vehicle. And for 62 grand, the vehicle doesn't have LED lighting. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I'm just like, I mean, even inside, I've shown that many times. It doesn't have the, it's just like, wow. I ordered mud flaps for it. I definitely want to get some mud flaps. I think it may give it a little more of a beefy look. I want to get the side steps for it. You can insert here. I've told people many times, there's already holes pre-drilled where you can apparently get some nice steps you can bolt on there so you can get in and out of the truck a little easier. I really like the interior. A lot of people have watched my channel. They kind of seen this truck numerous times now, but at the same time, for those that don't watch all of my videos and are just kind of like the morning conversations, this may be a little bit more of a refresher or a first time look. But you look at this car, I should say truck, versus the Ram TRX. It's just incredible on how high this truck is. It's just like, wow. It really is a very staunch, beefy looking vehicle. Today, hopefully I can get over to LA Tint and they can slide me in to get the front windows tinted, little nice strip across the windshield, and make it really look really cool. I want to get the key to it because I was thinking to myself, when I like to share information, so that's my channel, and that's a lot of goal of all YouTubers. Look at this here. I brought the Mustang back in, and the bees, the carpenter bees are out and about trashing the car, but I really want to get the Mustang back in the shop, even though, yeah, where is the Whipple Supercharger? Just beyond believable for anybody here that really watches my channel. I know a few people like, you should just mandatory demand that they give you back your money on that Whipple. But I'm so far in, I'm literally now getting to be 6 months in, and I think to myself, yeah, but do I give up when it's right there on the edge of it being, delivered, and, then ruin it? Whatever. We'll just kind of continue to play it out a little bit longer, and yeah, by June, I probably would have to say it'll probably ask for a refund, because that'll be like, you guys just aren't going to bring it here. But here's what I'll show you. So, this truck, this is an expensive truck. And when you go to the mid-size trucks, you lose a lot of things from the full size. Like right here is the side pockets of the side door. In a full-size truck, you literally have storage for your wrenches, tools, screwdrivers, whatever you want. A few, cup holders inside the truck. You have 4. So that's not too bad, actually. A lot better than Rivian. And then always, the biggest thing is, do you have the seating height posture? So so many years ago, when you go back to 80s, then the biggest complaint I had about these mid-size trucks was you felt like you were sitting on the floor. Because the seat, you didn't have a captain's chair. And I've talked about this throughout my channel many times. When you go buy a vehicle, you got to be careful. Because if you have like back challenges, you got to be careful when you buy smaller vehicles, because you're literally sitting on the floor with your butt, your tuchus. You're not in, versus when you get into a bigger truck, it's more of a captain's chair, and you get more support. Here's Kiefer, just loves to trash everything I own. You have more of your support with your legs and knees than your tuchus, and it'll wear you out. And this truck here, since it has such big tires, it does bounce you around. So this is, this is not a real, comfortable vehicle. If you think you're going to buy this truck and go on a real long trip and you're just not going to get bounced around, you are, because it's a short wheelbase per se. It's a smaller platform vehicle, so it's a toy. I mean, you really have to look at this as you buying yourself a Jeep Wrangler lifted. It's a toy. I mean, but keep in mind, yeah, it does a lot of things that a truck can do. It can tow 5,000 pounds, 5,500 pounds. The back seat, very, very cramped. So one reason I'm saying this to you is, for somebody out there that is looking about buying something and sharing my own information, I'm going to tell you, if you can find yourself a nice full-size truck in the $60,000 range, you're really better off going for that, because it's so much more practical. This is just the Iceman's antics of the never-ending, having yet another toy, another thing to add to my collection, and in the life ventures that I have, that I just have the addiction of always having to have something in the latest, greatest, is what it's all about. The suspension, my daughter was saying, is that the Fox? No, I'm not really. I think it's a Blistine or something, or I'm not even, what do they call it? The OSSV. So I'm not even really that knowledgeable on all of that. But the bottom line is it competing against the Fox suspension? Of course it is. You know, it's Chevrolet bringing a vehicle into the market to go head to head with the Ford Ranger Raptor to so-called do the off-road adventures, and which one's better. And I think at the end of the day, the Ford Ranger Raptor is going to win overall on a lot of different things. And yeah, that's what I'm curious to think to myself is I can't remember if the Ranger has side pockets to put your little tools and stuff like. I think the Ranger has a little bigger interiors. I think the Ranger is a little bigger than this vehicle. And here's the danger. If my selling dealer called me today and said, hey, we got a Ranger Raptor in, and I could flip it from one of these vehicles to that, it would probably happen. Just because I ordered 2 Ranger Raptors. And now it's just a matter of time for it to be built, and how does that all play out? But for me, you know, it's always about having the diversity, and then me having the honest, being able to tell people what it is versus what it ain't. And one, like I told people on my channel yesterday morning, going to the car show, just sharing information, was like one person reached out and said that for me bragging, in his view, me bragging that I buy cars, that I can truly share with others the reality, what they are, the pluses, the minuses. And this person was basically like, a subscriber or YouTuber, was like, a 10-minute drive sums it all up. And I'm thinking, there's no way. So if I'm not here attacking you, I'm just sharing with you that I'm sorry, I do not agree with you. This is like you say you go listen to a politician talk for 10 minutes, and you come to closure, that's the right guy. No, cars aren't any different. All these cars have their pluses and minuses. And until you really own them and drive them, I can guarantee you everybody on my channel can tell them stories. When they first bought this vehicle, they really thought they liked, but yet down the road, they come to realize it's not the vehicle they like. My good friend Chris, who went out and bought a nice Harley-Davidson Breakout, he didn't keep that thing, you know, I don't think he put 200 miles on it. I really don't know, but it came to realize that was a mistake. Even though when he rode it, test drove it at the dealership, and then brought it back, he bought it. But then once he owned it, he realized, no way. His body just doesn't have the, his back issues, it just didn't work for him. So, you know, there's a perfect example of go take a 10-minute ride in a motorcycle, buy it, and then down the road, look at me. I bought the Indian Pursuit, never did test drive it, which I should have. And then when I brought it home, the first time I drove it, I just had this weird feeling about that motorcycle. I just couldn't tell what was going on, but it was just something wasn't right. So, you know, I think it's a mistake to say to anybody here that you go test drive a car for 10 minutes and you think that's your car. We all know, we only wish we could have the car for a few days and really get the true personality out of it. That would then come to closure if you buy it or not. But the dealerships don't have anything to do with that because they know they would have a lot of returns. How many people have buyer's remorse? Yeah, so it's always about the sharing. And that's what I thought this morning is on my channel, as you know, if you're watching my channel, I share all my antics, all my things. And it's just crazy to think about just in 1 week. If you go from a week ago Saturday, here I'm out buying a Talon. And then you go a week ago Monday, you see me going and picking up the Honda Monkey, which I have here in the shop. I got called out on the Facebook took away my video of me sharing on how I let the dogs chase me around the property on the Honda Monkey. Yes, I got a real strict warning against me on Facebook. I've never been a real Facebook person. I never liked Facebook because I felt like it was just too much information, and I don't like how Mark Zuckerberg shared everybody's information unbeknownst to them to make tons of money off them. It's incredible if you stop and think about who the richest people in the world are. They're Mark Zuckerberg, he's one of the richest people in the world from sharing everybody's information. It's unbelievable. Just, you know, your guy creates content. He doesn't create the content. You create the content for him. And the guy has made billions of dollars off of taking your information, and then you share it with everybody, and he makes all the money off of it from advertisers. It's beyond believable that what he's accomplished. So I just never wanted to be a Facebook person, just because I didn't really want to get on Facebook and then have the presentation, look at me, look how special I am because I have all these cars and trucks. I really want nothing to do with it. I don't want, and that's why I try to bring content on these morning conversations to show it's more of an intellectual channel besides just me saying, oh, I bought another vehicle. And that's what I try to accomplish on my channel, but it's very challenging because it doesn't make it become the most noticeable and most successful channel because I've talked about the algorithms and how it kind of throws off all the content that I bring. But I really think that sincerely for a lot of people here, could you just imagine I take away my morning conversations and I take away my adventures of going to Florida, Tennessee, and I just focused on posting a video every time I bought a car or a truck or a motorcycle, and that was it. And all you saw me is go to the car dealership, hey, look at me, I just bought yet another vehicle, this is number 20 for this year, isn't this so cool, do a little video, then I disappear. And then like a week or two later, I pop it again. Hey, I'm here at the motorcycle dealership. Look at me. I just bought this really cool motorcycle. Now I'm at 21 purchases this year. Isn't this so cool? Then I disappear. And that's all you saw. I really don't think I'd have the subscription base. I don't really think I'd have the regulars that follow my channel. I mean, for me personally, I'd be like, who the hell wants to see this? This guy goes out, he shares, he buys something, then he disappears. And there's really nothing more to it than him just bragging about buying another car. For me, I really don't want that. And that's why I created the morning conversations, because I wanted to get more to the intellectual side of my YouTube channel, sharing information. And it's more about just the cars. There's more to it than that that's going on in my life. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, but like I say, the downside is it's a lot of intellectual talk that it just doesn't the eye candy. So it doesn't, isn't the breaking news that the whole country is getting ready to be blown up by Russia. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to create this content that's explosive, that creates the fear. And that's what I thought to myself on the sharing aspect. And going back to Facebook is, and it's just incredible on how on Facebook, how somebody literally, in some ways, attacked that video because they felt that I was being, they felt I was being mean to my dogs of letting them run around my property. I'm thinking, wow, that should be unbelievable that somebody, here have a whole fenced-in property. I get it. If I had my dog on the street and I'm teaching him to chase cars on the street, I get all that. Teach him to chase bicyclists, joggers. I mean, I get all that. This is my own private property, and my dogs for years and years and years have always run with me on four-wheelers, dirt bikes. They've always have loved that stuff on my Talon. But you know what? Somebody out there thinks that's mean, that dog right there is being treated the wrong way. So that video was taken down. Wow. I just think, wow. So what personality reached out on Facebook and called out a video of my channel? It's not even my channel, just the Facebook world. And that's why, once again, Facebook, I'm not a fan of Facebook. I really am not. So, because it enriches Mark Zuckerberg, who I just don't like. I really don't like the guy. And I think the guy stole the idea of what he created from somebody else, but another guy got squashed. But anyways, so it's the sharing, and that's what I say. More than ever in society, we are at the highest level of sharing. I try to keep it the cars and trucks, motorcycles. What do you do every time you get in your vehicle? And more than ever, you're sharing your information. More than ever, the vehicle even tells you it wants to share its diagnostics, blah, blah, blah. The black box in the vehicle is sharing, God forbid, you ever get a horrendous car crash, they have access to that box to share with the world what you were doing before that crash and in a crash. And then inside the car, you're sharing with the car all of your Waze information, all of your contacts information. Here comes the kid coming to work to get the day going. There she is, roaring to go. Morning. Morning. So anyways, as far as just once again, I'm here stuttering as I talk this morning. Yeah.
What was leaking out of the trash can?
Mom thinks coffee grinds or something.
No, that was blood.
I have no idea. Did somebody get murdered in the house?
I don't know.
Wow, was there a crime scene? Did she clean it all up? Hey there, Kiefer boy. Yeah, so the kid, yeah, sharing information. No secrets with my kid. Shares it all. If you watch my channel, you see that going on. Especially you go to Florida, and my good friend Chris and Shannon are going to be packing it up Wednesday morning. They're heading out down to Myrtle Beach to have the big bike week.
Your car.
I know, it's the carpenter bee. The carpenter bees are out. They're happy. It's that time of year. They're boring away in our garage. It doesn't end. She just loves it. See here? Hey, Dad, your car's all trashed. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, my gosh. Hey, but the birds have definitely quieted down. So the good news is, if you look at my garage, it's a miracle. I think the birds have finally had their day trying to bring the new ones into the world, and they've left. I mean, I wouldn't say 100%, but here's the thing. I haven't been using a smoker or anything. And so anyway, so the sharing information, you got to go fill an application to buy a car. You got to share your personal information. Some people don't like that. And then the dealership, shotguns your credit report to everybody to share your information. I mean, and that's the thing. When sharing, there's a very fine line there. Isn't it something when somebody's accomplished something you're so proud of, and they want to share that with everybody? But when you fail at something, who wants to share that? And that's life. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's embarrassing. And that was one reason for so many years I didn't really want to make a YouTube channel, because I felt embarrassed, because I know that people would look at me like, this guy buys a damn car every month or every and so I never really wanted to share that, because in so many ways it's embarrassing. I can remember so many years ago buying a car and going to work when I worked for somebody else, and I was in so many ways embarrassed to show up in the car because I felt like I'd get tarnished. Oh, you bought another freaking car? You just bought one 6 months ago. I mean, who doesn't know these stories? The big wealthy people, they're never going to share with you. I mean, I have such successful relationships with incredibly successful people with all the money, and they'll never share with their employees all the things they have. They hide everything. They don't want them to know. Why? Because we start sharing everything, and it irritates people. It makes people jealous, envious. Who doesn't know these stories? And that's why when you're sitting in the store, just like yesterday, here I'm at the car show, and we're doing the car meet, and here I come to find out there's this F1 racer that's a apparently world-known, very successful racing champion that's standing in the parking lot in the middle, in the parking lot in front of me, and I'm telling him about the car show, never realizing this guy was this incredible, successful, career-winning race car driver, which was so cool. If you watch my Sunday morning conversation, I dedicated a whole 30-minute section just for him, letting him share his views of life. And he's from India, and it was really good content. If you haven't watched it, you really should. You should go to that video from Sunday's conversations at the car show. And that's our thing. I go to the car show and I share with other YouTubers the passion and love that people have for their cars. And most of the people will share their love and passion with others of their cars. But there's some people that just kind of shut down, and they really don't want to be part of they don't want to be seeing the video. They don't want to show the car. They're just like, they just walk away. In which you see that every now and then, but for the most part you don't. There's some people who just don't want anything to do with it. But that's okay. I mean, I get all that. But but in our physical world that we live today, it's incredible how between the videos, I have videos, we have the cell phones, our computers, the cars, the self-driving cars, everything is being shared. Every single thing that we're doing today is being shared, but at the same time, not necessarily. There's always an agenda that hides a lot of stuff that they don't want to share. And you just look at the governing body of our country, how we find out after the fact that the FBI has been spying on you, or the CIA. You always kind of hear the things afterwards, and then you hear about the bills being passed that the politicians are like, what's the big deal if they don't have to have a warrant to search you and they can spy on you and blah, blah, blah. And it's all about the sharing. But then you kind of want to reverse the angle and say, well, what about the citizens having the sharing of information from the political powers to be? And then that kind of goes down the rabbit hole, which I think I waste my time on my channel trying to go in that conspiracy theories and everything else. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to. It's just what is gained from the constant challenging the government powers to be as you're just a little, you're a flea in the sand dunes. And then you just look at what's going on over, if you look at the artificial intelligence, I mean, that's what I think about more than ever is our artificial intelligence. It is going to be sharing everything that you do. I mean, when you were a kid, didn't you always want the capability to read somebody's mind? I mean, in so many ways, I'm sure everybody always had that thought that only it could read that person's mind. But as I've gotten older in life, I'm like, I really don't want to read that person's mind. I just really don't want to get caught up in that web of whatever's going on with that person's life. Who doesn't know these stories? And I think to myself, wow, we are at the age with artificial intelligence that it's going to read your mind. Yes, it's really freaky in so many ways, very concerning, because where all this artificial intelligence is going, it's truly going to be part of your life like never ever seen. And it's going to know what you're thinking because of your algorithms, because of your habits. The artificial intelligence will be able to say that the Iceman will be yet again buying another truck or a motorcycle or this or that. Not saying that the average human being can't figure that out, but I think that more than ever, the artificial intelligence is going to expose us more than ever because it's going to know things from it, understanding our interactions with it. And then it's the dirty laundry that then becomes exposed. It's just like I said months and months ago when Elon Musk completes his Optimus robot that has artificial intelligence in it, and you go fast forward years from now, I think of the elitists having the big grand party and the Optimus that walks around and serves the dinner and the drinks. And I think the Optimist walks up to one lady and then says, oh, you're the, F, or you're the B, person, and starts spewing information that say the person that made the party talked about this person. And then it starts, and you just think to yourself, that's inevitable. I think that's what will start to play out in life, is that all the dirty secrets will be disclosed by the artificial intelligence, which will even create even more challenges for mankind, because then the true feelings will be exposed on how you think and talk about somebody. I talked about a while back, the LA Clippers owner, he was terminated. He lost the franchise, the LA Clippers, because it was exposed on how he was very racist and derogatory to the people of color. And he was forced out of the league for that reason. Dan Snyder, in some ways, was forced out of the league, not for derogatory, other things, employer. There's a lot of things for that as well. But the point is, it's all about sharing information. And for us today, more than ever, we're more exposed than ever in our lifetime of sharing everything we do. And which can come back in so many ways to haunt you. I mean, and then it goes to the political side, which I talked about a moment ago, which then it goes to look at Donald Trump. He's been exposed by Stormy Daniels. Look at Joe Biden. He's been exposed for misbehavior, supposedly through a diary. I mean, but then it goes into the conspiracy theories. Then it goes into, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But here's really good information that I just read at 4 o'clock this morning was the Wall Street Journal did an article about how we have different views. If you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, or you're independent, how we all look at the inflation, the economy, and it's incredible on how when Donald Trump was in power, and you asked the Republicans what they felt of the country, the economy, and it was just all high marks. The independents were in the middle. You asked the Democrats, they said the country is in terrible times, disarray, it's ridiculous, and Donald Trump needs to be replaced. So now Donald Trump's been replaced, and now they do a survey with Joe Biden, and with Joe Biden, the Republicans all think the country's in disarray, economy's not in good shape, and he needs to be replaced. Independents are middle of the road. The Democrats right now think the economy's doing the best it's ever been. There's nothing really out of sorts, and the country's in good shape, and nothing to be worried about. That's a fact. This is just me sharing information. So this is, once again, polls reaching out to people to share their views and ideas and thoughts. And so it's a total opposite. It's just incredible how more than ever in today's society, we have more than ever the opportunity to share information, to share what we think is right versus wrong. And still, no matter what, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter what we see or we share, you're going to take a political position of whoever is in power to whether you're happy or unhappy. So it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if everything was greater than great. If you just are a Republican right now, you're going to say it's not. Then you put a Republican back in office, and a Democrat's going to say it's not. It's all lies. It's all lies. Everything that's being shared with you is false. It's a false narrative. And so here we are with a country that's now in 2 wars, and they don't even share. I mean, sincerely, what's going on now over in Israel, the Gaza, many people are calling out the media because they feel like they're not sharing the real what's really going on over there. We're really being shielded, and we're not really seeing really what's happening over in that Middle East war. And then you go to Ukraine, Russia, and once again, you hear different stories of what's going on and the propaganda. So the sharing, it's incredible how more than ever we have the opportunity to share information, but it's the same as it was 100 years ago. It's propaganda driven, and it's twisted, and you don't know what to believe, what is factual or not. And that's the artificial intelligence biggest fear and threat, is that artificial intelligence is going to manipulate mankind like never ever seen. And don't get me wrong, the artificial intelligence, there's a lot of good things that will come from that, and already are, but at the same time, there's a very big concern that artificial intelligence is in so many ways share so much information, it's going to control mankind more than ever. It's incredible what lies ahead for us as we just all idly sit here and watch things transpire in front of us. And here's the next thing. These data centers are being overwhelmed with this artificial intelligence, the computing power, the NVIDIA GPU processing that they're bringing to this artificial intelligence, and then demand by companies and new organizations that want to get more involved and create more artificial intelligence. It's creating a huge demand on electricity. So they're already talking down in Georgia that Georgia has a pretty good infrastructure of data centers, and the electric companies are already saying that the demand from this artificial intelligence is going to overwhelm their grid system, and the future of the electricity there is going to be strained, and they're really being forced to bring nuclear. So apparently they're going to be opening up a brand new nuclear plant down there in Georgia, and a lot of people are very yeah, when you start sharing that information, they're going to bring a nuclear plant to your local area. And a lot of people think back to the 3 Mile Island when I was a kid. I'll never forget, in New Jersey, just a young kid in Reddington, New Jersey, when I was in middle school, I'll still remember this day that the 3 Mile Island had an event, and it was possible that we would have nuclear air coming east towards where we lived that could have a very harmful effect. And it never did play out that way, but it was just as a young boy, I was very concerned for the well-being, because if you're inhaling nuclear air, you know what that's going to eventually do to you. You're probably going to be pretty screwed up. You probably won't live as long as you possibly could. So, and that was information back then, them sharing information about nuclear. So the sharing of nuclear energy, these power plants, Chernobyl, whatever in Russia, you hear these stories and it scares people, and they don't like that idea. But once again, it's going back to artificial intelligence that is being created like never seen. It's driving all the tech stocks, and it's creating demand that is creating a lot of opportunity, but it also is creating a challenge for how the data centers are going to stay up with getting the energy from electrical sources to be able to give mankind so much stuff that's gone so internet based. And yesterday I was talking about on my morning conversation about how years ago George P., one of my subscribers, he's challenging my thoughts about how the finance side will never, or somebody else, I could be wrong about George P., but just a lot of comments come in, and I'm just trying to remember who exactly it was, but I thought it was George P., but whole point is the finance people in these dealerships make a lot of money, and they make money for dealerships. And so many years ago, during the financial car crisis and housing crisis, the government was really trying to revamp and re-regulate that industry more than ever. And it never did play out. But it was regulation that was trying to be drafted up to eliminate these finance people. And once again, it didn't ever play out. But I don't think that's really the talk. What I was really saying in that conversation is, I think the artificial intelligence. So I think that maybe the message was taken the wrong way. What I was saying is, I think the artificial intelligence is going to start to be more of the approval process more than ever in buying a vehicle, and that the artificial intelligence is going to slowly take away that relationship in dealerships that requires so many finance people. So that was my message. My message was more about how artificial intelligence will continue to develop itself, become more efficient, more human-like, and it'll be you computer face to computer, fill out your application, and you never really see a person in the transaction, and that artificial intelligence will go through the whole process of getting the deal done for you. So that's what I was talking about. I wasn't really talking about so much that the government's going to come in and take away finance people and take away the in-house financing. I was talking about how that was proposed probably 12 years ago, 2010, 11, 12. But I'm saying more than ever today, I think artificial intelligence is going to grow inside the dealership infrastructure and removing the physical bodies to be in dealerships to make them more efficient, to enrich the owners even more. And that's what it's always about. It's always about the owners trying to make more and more money, and how can they accomplish that besides sacrificing you in some ways. All right, that's pretty much it. Here's the collection. Yeah, it just doesn't end, right? And for me, I got to get motivated. I get this frickin' Corvette front splitter replaced. But I'm always on a frickin' project of buying yet something else. So with that being the case, the poor Corvette. But my friend Brent, he says if you jack this thing up, it's like 10 or 15 pins that you pop out, and it's not that hard to put that on. I have a splitter back there to put on this. I've already bought myself, and which I haven't asked Carvana for reimbursement yet, but whatever. It just doesn't end, everybody. It doesn't end. So, as always, a lot. I know that. And what's the next adventure? Yeah, my John Deere lawnmower guy literally texted me this morning, said, will you be there to get the lawnmower? I was like, no. I was like, whoa. So I had to call him and say, hold on. Slow up. I'm not so sure I'm going to take that lawnmower. So I was like, man, he's like, I'm getting it loaded up for you with the paperwork from delivered to your house. Like, no, stop. I'm not so sure that's the right idea right now. I don't know about that. I have to kind of step back on that and think about that. Cleaner parking. I cleaned up the parking lot. I got some bikes back in the trailers, and I really need to get a nice cover for that towel. I think I'm going to do that, and because I really want my cars in the garage. I really want my dark horse in the garage. I just don't really want all this stuff sitting outside. So, all right, everybody, that's it. Have a great day. Stay tuned for more adventures, more stories. Share the channel. Help it grow, and help it grow for the right reason, not the cheating reason. And I think some of you YouTubers out there, they grow their channel just off of fear. They share fear. That seems to be the number one driving thing in the YouTube community, is the biggest YouTubers are sharing fear all the time that have the biggest, prove me wrong. The biggest YouTubers out there, I'm not saying Cletus McFarland, I'm saying general, where it is, you create fear, which you share fear, and that drives your channel. Wow. God bless. Have a great day.